Welcome to episode 1 of the Digital Exchange. I'm Robert, founder of Digital Sphere, and today we're setting the tone for a new kind of conversation in construction technology. This industry is changing fast, and owners need clarity, not hype, and there's a lot of it out there. In this first episode, we're breaking down where we are, where we're going, and why this podcast is here to guide the way. Let's get into it. We're starting with something really simple. Who I am, why am I doing this podcast? Why construction technology need a different kind of conversation, one that's grounded in the owner's perspective and truth to the information. Since this is the very first episode, I wanted to start with something foundational. Why this podcast exists and why I'm the one behind the mic. Construction technology is evolving fast, faster than most teams can keep up with. But most owners, the people ultimately responsible for the outcome, are often left out of the conversation. They get the sales pitch, the buzzwords, the promises. We can do this, this, and that. But you know what? We're never given the clarity. And sad to say, but some don't want clarity, don't know how to go get the clarity. But that's why we're here. We're here to have some real conversations, things that are against the norm, things that make it to why this show exists. I remember being on the speaking circuit, and some of the guys would kept saying, man, you tell the story how it is. I'm like, why am I going to give y'all a bunch of fluff? Aren't we all tired of going to all of these conferences and whatever, and then people give us smoke and mirrors? Well, that gets old. A lot of buzzwords, and hey, we're doing digital twins, and you can ask most people in digital twins, what are you doing? We do this, this, and that. I'm like, there's no way that they're into these technologies like they are, because if you are into them, you would have had a big gut punch. But that's a different story. That's a different storyline of what we'll start getting into. But let me tell y'all a little bit about me, about who Robert is. As I said earlier, I'm the founder of Digital Sphere. We're a small consulting firm focused on construction technology, digital delivery, and help owners navigate modernization with confidence. Back in the 2015, 2016, I was asked to take over a program I had nothing about. I couldn't even call people because nobody was really doing anything, so it was very hard. But nevertheless, I've spent the majority of my career involved in construction technology operations. I've been in the field. I came up through the ranks. I remember in the survey field doing oil and gas work. I remember being a rear chainman, didn't even know what it was, but I was holding the chain. I remember working myself up to being an instrument man. I remember being a party chief, and then I became a survey technician. Then I became a senior survey technician. So as I was coming through the ranks and in that survey field, I rose to what was the top of that profession. And so I was very happy with it. And quite frankly, I'm thankful for it right now, because hadn't I had that experience, I wouldn't be able to navigate the construction technology from the zero business case all the way through the asset handover. We wouldn't be able to navigate oversight, governance of projects if we didn't have those experiences. If I had never done DOT work where I was able to do inspections and learn how to be QA, guess what? I wouldn't know how to understand what those guys are doing in the field. When I became a survey tech and was in the office, I started getting more familiar with office concepts and the conversations and things that happen. So in 2015-16, when I took over the program at DFW Airport for construction technology, I was very confused, because if you listen to me, I was a field guy. In this industry, there's a gap, because you got field guys who don't know what the suits and ties are doing. Then you got suits and ties who think they know, but they don't really know what's going on. And so both are saying, well, this one don't know, this one don't know. Well, guess what? I have the I think I have a good skill set by saying I'm a suit and tie guy who was in the field, and I can still get out there. So I'm very, very happy that I can do that. But that's kind of what set the tone for let's let's be able to talk to some of our industry leaders, some of our different folks in the industry, and let's draw some conclusions and some conversations about what's happening, what's not happening, what's real and not real. Are there some programs out there who are saying we can do this, and then the moment you try them, then it's failed, and we're already what 50, 60, $100,000 investment into that program. So those are some of the things why we came to doing this show. I want to talk to y'all on a little different spectrum, though. I want to make sure that you guys understand this show is, although I'm coming from an owner centric aspect, I do want you to know that we will have some owners on and we will talk owner to owner. We will have some of the software providers. We will have some of the VDC senior directors from contractors. We're wanting to have a well-rounded show so you guys can start understanding when you go to owners, you can have an owner that's progressive, some that's kind of I'm happy and content. So we want to make sure that we're giving you guys a well-rounded aspect to be able to go through these various owners and be able to have a more meaningful conversation so that not only it helps that owner, but it helps you understand that owner though, to get a better asset handover, a better project. It's funny that I'm on here. I believe I was in St. Louis last year, and one of my buddies, and y'all see him on the next show, actually the first episode. He was like, "Man, I like what you saying, man. You keep it real, but your voice is not enough. You just doing it here, man. What can we do to make sure that we can have some more conversations?" I didn't think anything about it. We went to our next speaking engagement, and guess what? Me and him on a panel in Austin, Texas. And we go to another conference and me and him on another panel. He was like, "Dude, it's time. Let's do this." I didn't think nothing about it. Well, one of my daughters, who I love her to death, she's in the videography and post processing, things like that. And she was like, we ought to do this show. So guess what? We're here. So just about everything in my career, you'll start to notice if you listen to me. My three daughters, some shape, form, or fashion, is gonna have some involvement with it where they make me get off my butt and get to work. So very thankful for them. She's the producer here, so very happy for that. I got somebody who can keep it real with me and make sure that I'm doing the things I'm supposed to. I told y'all a little bit about me and what we're doing, and make sure that you know who's behind the mic and let you know that I'm just not a guy who's on a podcast who's want to talk, that I'm actually in the trenches and I'm actually out there working. I actually do have to do presentations. Sometimes I have to put on a suit and coat and tie. Sometimes I got to put on my Wolverines and get out there and step up on the columns. I still have to do that. I still have to teach people how to do reality capture. We're still involved in clash detection. I'm involved in the whole gamut and still have to be able to relay messages to my executive leadership. So I'm in there. You're not just talking to some guy who's not in there. I'm in there. I'm not afraid to fail. I love trying new things. I love breaking stuff. And guess what? When you come to me, I am trying to break your stuff with everything. I just want you guys to know that as we get into this show and this podcast and we start diving deep, I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to be asked questions that, sometimes I can't answer. I remember getting stumbled once and I still want to get back on that guy's show because me and him need to go toe to toe again. But that's me. I'm just old country boy from Midland, Odessa, Texas, old football player, old survey guy, and who made it to the senior management, and I'm happy. And I want to be able to bring you guys this show that we can focus on some of the incredible tools that are out there in the space. Drones, AI, digital twins, the different data platforms, adaptations, implementations. We're not really on this show to be agnostic. I mean, to be just sold on one source, because guess what? There's many tools to make things happen. So that's why we're here, so we can have some crucial, healthy, positive, realistic conversations about the AECO industry and how we want to progress. Going forward, we're going to break down the topics that matters to owners, such as digital delivery, emerging technology, risk, standardization, and more. I'll be interviewing some leaders across the AEC, tech, and government. All of them will be grounded, practical, and honest. Trust me, when we're on the show, I'm going to make sure that they tell me the truth. Make sure that you guys get a good message from each of the episodes. We're going to talk about things that work and don't, and what's coming next from the perspective. I want to make sure that we're actually talking about things that deliver true project management and asset handover. We want to talk about managing risk. We want to talk about things that minimize owners, not liability per se, but we want to make sure that we have a better oversight into our projects and have more integration, more collaborations with you guys. This podcast is meant to give owners clarity in a very distorted, noisy construction tech landscape. I'm here because I've experienced the challenge and I've helped solve them. Not all, but a lot. I mean, we've dug deep into a lot of things. I'm still doing proof of concepts on things, and guess what? We fail. Some we go, I have a good rapport that some things work, some they don't. Guess what? We're given that leadway that we can fail. And with that leadway of failing, you get some things that's successful, and that's what we're here. I want to give you guys something that you can really think about and take and be able to utilize in your day-to-day functions. If this resonates with you guys, please feel free to share this episode with somebody as we navigate digital transformation. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear what topics you guys want to explore. Trust me, I got a couple of friends who know I'm doing this, and if you see us engaging on LinkedIn, that's just us. That's just the way how the young people say, that's just how we roll. So we're here. We're coming. Let's have some conversations. Let us know. And then, hey, we're more than happy to take some of the subjects you guys suggest, topics, guests, and we'll get them on the show. Thank you guys for joining me on the Digital Exchange. Until next time, keep building smart. Thank you guys.